Today, we're hitting pause on the challenging trails to slow things down and enjoy some relaxation as we go camping in the beautiful landscapes of British Columbia. After a long road trip across the province, we found a perfect riverside spot to rest for the night, but this isn't your typical roadside campsite. To reach our secluded retreat, we'll be driving along a scenic riverbed, making the journey just as nice as the destination. Curious of how you can turn your own road trip into a peaceful overnight adventure? Stick around to find out.
What is up, and welcome to another adventure. This adventure starts a little bit different than most of our adventures. As you can see, or as you maybe can't see, we're in the middle of BC, driving from Vancouver to Calgary. As you guys know, we've done this journey a lot, and if you want to see some of my journeys from those kind of trips, go check them out on the channel, including our one-day trips as well as our three-day trips. This is another one of my more relaxed trips. I didn't film it because, as you guys know, there's a lot on the channel. So we've decided to take our time and explore some of the southern route on our journey. Tonight, we'll actually be going ahead and doing a little bit of camping. And I thought I'd take you guys along, since many of you might find yourself in this kind of situation when you're doing these long road trips. So tonight, in the cover of darkness, we're going to be going ahead, exploring a local trail near Cranbrook, and finding a place we can go ahead and spend the night before heading to the trail tomorrow.
Turning off the highway, we made our way onto the gravel road, hoping it would lead us to the riverside. As the gravel road turned into a trail, we followed it alongside the railway tracks before descending into the dry creek bed. From there, we traced the path that the water would normally take during the spring melt, hoping it would eventually connect us to the river. And it didn't take long before the creek bed merged with the river. And well, we could have set up camp right there. We decided to explore a bit farther along the banks to find the perfect spot. Navigating along the riverbank, we crossed a few more small creeks before finally settling on a beautiful spot just meters from the water's edge.
And well, I think I found my spot to camp. Check this out. It's kind of hard for you to see, so you have to wait until the morning. But we're pretty much on the Kootenay River here, and we just kind of drove along the riverbed. I was not expecting any of this around here, but we kind of just drove along the riverbed. I was going to camp right at the kind of the entrance to the riverbed, but I thought I might as well do a little bit of exploring. And well, honestly, it was a perfect idea because it's going to be hard for you to see, but right there is the Kootenay River. It's actually a little sandy even here, and it's going to be impossible for you to see with the lights on. But the car is kind of tucked into the trees here, so we're a little bit protected if the wind does decide to come up. But next thing is, well, we got to go ahead and set up the tent because it is already 10:30, because coming from Vancouver to Calgary, once you get past Creston, you do lose an hour. So we lost an hour, so now we kind of have to make up for that time and get some good sleep before we kind of hit the trail and hit the road back to Calgary tomorrow. So let's go ahead, set up the tent, get everything ready, and then we'll go ahead and head to bed because I already had dinner many hours ago on the road. And well, there we go. We are all set up and well, pretty much ready for bed. Got the sleeping bag here, got the blanket. I don't know how cold it's supposed to get today, but it's supposed to be about 10 in the morning. So we're going to be not really pushing the limits. This bag's rated for 0, so I'm kind of fine, but I just have the blanket in case it does get a little bit chilly. I can hear the river, but I can also hear the trains. Kind of one of the trails we follow, not the tracks, the trails we follow actually was a train track. So there is trains that run by there. And I actually see one went through when we're kind of going away from it. So I can just hear that, and I can just hear the highway that we took kind of coming in here. So I think this is a pretty good spot. It's a lot quieter than when I was on what was the Bowl River, I think, kind of more up that way when I did my Vancouver to Calgary in 3 days and kind of did that kind of journey. So that's kind of what we're looking at. But this is a great spot to go ahead and spend the night, just kind of as we make our journey back to Calgary. So I'm gonna go ahead, probably head to bed, and I will see you guys in the morning. The sun should rise at around 7:30. It's already midnight, so I don't know if I'll be getting up by then, but I'll see you bright and early in the morning. So we can go check out this beautiful view and do a little exploration before we hit the highway. And well, good morning from our beautiful camp spot here in BC. With the light now, you can see a little bit more of what I was talking about. As I said, last night was the harvest moon, so we actually were able to see quite a bit of this with just our eyes. But of course, cameras don't work quite as well as human eyes in the darkness unless you got something fancy. But we were able to kind of check this out last night, and as I said, I couldn't wait to show you guys this amazing campsite. We have the mountains in the distance, and we're just steps away from a very cold river. As you guys know, I like to go swimming in a lot of rivers that we are at or we camp at. Unfortunately, I will not be camping in this one because this one is absolutely freezing, and as you can tell, it's actually a little bit chilly. It is fall, so we can expect that the spring or the fall nights actually do get quite chilly, especially out here in BC. We got down to 8 last night. I was nice and warm, but as soon as I kind of came out of the tent, I was like, oh, it's a bit brisk. And to add on top of that, we have a bit of a wind here actually. This wind is something I didn't notice this morning until I stepped out of the tent, because, well, the tent doesn't do the flappy thing like a soft shell tent does. So it was very, very nice all night. I was able to get a good sleep, so we can go ahead and hit the road back to Calgary. But before we do that, we got to go ahead and we'll make it back to the highway. You can kind of see the bridge, the highway over there, like way over there. That's where we're going today. So we have a little bit of packing up to do before we go ahead and make the drive back towards the highway.
With the tent packed up, we retraced our steps along the riverbed. Navigating the riverbank and crossing the creeks we had tackled the night before. And it wasn't long before we reached the dry creek bed, leaving the river behind us as we made our way towards the highway. And after carefully crawling over more rocks, we slipped beneath the bridge and climbed up to the gravel road that would eventually lead us back to the highway.
And there we go. We are finally back on the highway, making our way back to Calgary. As you can see, we can still have a good time camping well on our way to the final destination. So, if you've ever found yourself doing what I've done and stopped in the middle of your journey and had a little nice camp along the way, let me know how it went. With that being said, we're gonna wrap the video here and I'm gonna make my way back to Calgary. If you're looking for the whole trip or a whole trip like this, go check out some of the videos on my channel where I do exactly that.
And with that being said, don't forget to go ahead and check out my business, Flat 4 Off-Road, where we build and customize off-road ready crossovers and Subarus. Also, don't forget to check out the channel memberships, as I just released a new perk on the channel where you can get a discount at Flat 4 Off-Road for being the highest tier member on the channel. So with that being said, I'll be seeing you guys in the next adventure.